Good morning from bumper to bumper Tel Aviv traffic. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. The traffic is a little bit less beautiful, but hey, you can't win them all. Monday morning, which means you're starting your week, but it's, I guess, the equivalent of my Tuesday because we work on Sundays. We don't work on Friday, but we work on Sunday. But anyway, I am approaching WeWork Tel Aviv, and that's a good thing. Here early. It's 8:30 in the morning here in Israel, and I have some time because my first meeting is only at 9:30, but I have some really, really great stuff planned for today, great meetings. But first I thought, good morning all. Hey Roy. Let me see who's here, who jumps in. By the way, you guys are choosing me over YouTube. I think YouTube is still streaming, or they were anyway. So thank you for choosing. Hey Ben, good morning. How you doing? Let's see who else is here. I see some eggs. Guys, freaking profile pictures, doesn't cost money. Brandon, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Morning, Roz. How's it going? Profile pictures, people. Peter Lerner, how you doing? Peter Lerner, the one, the only Peter Lerner. Peter, I gotta tell you, she was awesome yesterday. Yeah, it was Marina rocked the stage at 7.5 months into her pregnancy, so you know, you definitely made a good hire there. Good morning, Yoni. Drive safely. I'm standing here in traffic. I'm literally standing here right now. Now I'm making a turn, and I'm driving as safely as can be. Don't worry. Now that I'm driving, I'm not looking at the screen. I'm very careful, but I will stand still, and I will be able to look at the screen and hopefully answer some of your questions. I am approaching WeWork Tel Aviv right now as we speak, and I will stand here and continue this. Here, let me show you where I am right now, just so you understand. There you go. WeWork Tel Aviv. So I am standing still in the office, Zula office, and starting this. Let's see who's here. Good morning, man. Good morning. Good morning. Einav, thank you. Roy Pesis, Yoni. Melanie, what's cooking, Melanie? How you doing? Thank you for coming in. All right, so let's just get started. So everyone knows by now, I feel like it's kind of like, you know, whenever somebody comes up with a cool strategy, marketers ruin it. And obviously it's happening, unfortunately, with Meerkat right now. Too many people are using it to spam and whatever it is. And the truth is, it's also true for the content world. And I still think it's obviously the most effective thing to build your brand. But you got to start thinking out of the box because now everyone's doing it, right? You know, 7 years ago, or I actually just got on Time Hop this morning. I kid you not, that 8 years ago, I believe. Wait, we're in 2050. Yeah, 8 years ago today, I believe I started my blog. So I've been doing that for 8 years, which is awesome for me. But you know, when back then it wasn't mainstream, it wasn't kind of like widely adopted. Now pretty much everyone understands the power of blogging and whatever it is, so now we got to think what's next. And so I thought I would address some interesting points that as a startup founder, or as an entrepreneur, or just as a person who's interested in building out a brand, some ideas you can do that are fairly minimal effort / barrier to do. I mean, you don't have to be some kind of rock star to do these things, except for the last one. The last one is something that we did at Zula that definitely does require a lot of effort, and I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about, but I'll be talking about that last, because the first 4 are pretty much, you know, available to you to do right now. So I'm going to talk about those, and basically the concept is 5 out-of-the-box ideas that you can do in terms of content for your startup right now, beyond the traditional blog. I'm not saying not to do blogging and whatever it is, but definitely try to think, you know, kind of, I guess, where the puck is going, or where the puck is headed, and skate there. So think, you know, what you can do beyond the traditional blog. And here are some ideas. One of the things that I decided I'd do a long time ago, many years ago, was interview people. And I've spoken about this many times, but I really, really did actually on a piece of paper write down a list of people that are like my dream people to interview. Really like top dogs, you know. Marissa Mayer's there, Mark Zuckerberg's there, Steve Wozniak is there, some other people, Alyssa Milano, who I'm a big fan of on Twitter, and some other, Mark Andreessen, Mark Suster, Hunter Walk, Dennis Crowley, some of these names, and if you don't know any of these names, then you should. But I've pretty much crossed off the list almost all of them. Mark Zuckerberg and Marissa Mayer are not yet on this list of people that I've interviewed, but I interviewed Steve Wozniak and Mark Suster and Hunter Walk, all those guys, and Alyssa Milano, and all these people, and that was all done through, yeah, I catched it, by the way, Melanie. I did catch it already in the tweet, I hope. Catched it is a hashtag that you can add at the end of a Meerkat to get a YouTube link. I didn't mean caught, like people like he catched it. That's kind of weird English. I hashtag catched it. By the way, I think my next Meerkat's going to be about the topic of hashtags and how they're abused and misused and what they're really good for. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. Let's see who else is in here. Mark, how you doing, man? Welcome. Oh, man, too many eggs, guys. Get rid of your eggs. Put on a profile picture. It doesn't cost money. What's going on? Okay, so interviews, right? So I really set out to interview some amazing people, and all through Twitter, Facebook, and one or two of them from Google Plus, like Vic Kondatra, I interviewed almost all the people on my list. And what's that good for? As a startup founder, or as, again, a person who's interested in branding, what's that good for? It's good for, number one, relationships. And that's for sure the biggest benefit of interviewing people that you want to connect with, building a relationship with these people. And now I can literally just, ping Wozniak. 3 days ago was a year since I interviewed him, and I posted on Facebook that it's been a year, and I wrote it was the highlight of my career. And within, I kid you not, you can go look on my Facebook, within 20 seconds, I kid you not, Wozniak wrote in the comments, meeting Hillel was the highlight of my life too, which obviously isn't, he doesn't mean that, obviously. He said it because he's Wozniak, he's the nicest guy in the world, but it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is he's there, we're friends, I don't know if I could say friends, but I'm on, first name basis with Steve Wozniak, which is insane if you think about it, and it's completely surreal. But that was done through interviewing him, and let's just talk a little psychology. Most people, with very few exceptions, are like to be on stage, right? They like to be on stage. So if you put them on stage and you say, I want to interview you, I want to pick your brain, I've rarely, maybe once, gotten a no, and that was because of just kind of like PR department needed to approve it and whatever it is. But other than that, almost everyone said yes, and I've asked some pretty amazing people. Again, like Mark Andreessen. Whoever doesn't know Mark Andreessen is, he pretty much invented the web browser, and he's probably the biggest VC in the world right now. Anyway, so first and foremost, most people will agree because they like being on stage. So I would say aim high, reach out to those people, and you build relationships with them. That's number one. Number two, sometimes you just feel like an egg. Yeah, good morning. John, good morning. Hey, Mark. All right, so that's first of all, you build a relationship. Number two, and sorry to be cynical, but let me ask you a question. What do you think happened the second I published my interview with Alyssa Milano? What do you think the first thing she did was? She tweeted it to her 2.5 million followers, right? What do you think happened the first second I interviewed Steve Wozniak? He tweeted it, and my analytics went bonkers, right? So that's the obvious, I think relationships are more valuable, but in terms of traffic, your traffic will skyrocket for sure if you interview big people. And third of all, at the end of the day, long term, you build your brand. This is a guy, who's writing content, interviewing some rock stars, and he must, the kind of like assumption, whether it's true or not true, is that you're somewhat serious. You're someone who's worth following. And so interviews are amazing, and I would say just aim high, make yourself a list of people in your space, right? If you're a ballet dancer, don't go interview, a tech guru, or go interview people in your space. And again, the goal, as we talked about many times, is to establish your name in your space. So find the people that are leading your space and interview them. Very, very simple. You can do it on Skype, you can do it on Hangouts, what I do many times is just email them questions and get answers. That's the best way to do it. But don't just like copy paste, right? Write a paragraph in terms of who the person is and give some context and thank them, obviously, but it's just an amazing content tool. It could be done on your blog. It could be done video. I interviewed Steve Wozniak by video. You can just Google YouTube my name with his name, and you'll see the video interview I did with him. And it's just interviews is a super powerful tool to get more traffic, to build relationships, and to help brand your name and your company. Let's see who else is in here. Good morning, Julie. Well, not morning for you, but welcome. Uri Haramati, the man himself, the man behind Meerkat. How you doing, man? Thank you for coming in. Always appreciate you coming into my streams. Avishai Ovadia, what's cooking? This guy's up to some cool stuff. Stay tuned for that. Mordechai Zuber, the only chassid in here. Definitely. No question about that. Ram Bracha, hey, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Okay, so let's move on. So we said interviews, right? Interviews is amazing, and it's really no barrier. Literally, just reach out to someone on Twitter and say, do you mind if I interview? I want to pick your brain about ballet. Boom, send them questions and publish the interview. It shouldn't take more than a day. Obviously these guys, some of them are very, very important and very busy people, so it might take them some time to respond. I'm still waiting for some answers from different people that are journalists or whatever it is, and I'm hoping that will happen. It takes time, but once you get those answers, once you build that relationship and you get those answers, and you should be able to publish, and boom, you have some great content, some great value there. So interviews is one out of the box type of content that, really no barrier, you should just do it. 2, guest blogging. Right? And this is something, again, that marketers are starting to ruin. and it's still not mainstream though. I get easily 10 emails a day asking me to guest blog on my blog, and my blog is not by any means a professional blog, and I try to update as much as I can, but obviously I'm busy, so I definitely don't update it like you know, a company blog that should be updated more frequently. But I get this like 10 times a day. I can't even imagine what TechCrunch gets and other professional blogs get in terms of requests to guest blog. Am I going to subs tonight? I'm not going to subs tonight because I'm going to a concert tonight with the family. Anyway, so guest blogging, I would, again, like I say, all this starts from relationships, and relationships, in my humble opinion, is a good place to start. Those are on Twitter. So get on Twitter, build out those relationships with the people who are decision makers in the various blogs, and go and guest blog. Share your content, distribute your content widely. Don't be stingy. Don't keep your content to yourself. I decided this many years ago, and till today I've guest blogged on Mashable, GigaOM, RIP, rest in peace, Huffington Post, VentureBeat, The Next Web, The Streets, Business Insider, and others that I can't remember right now. That's like 10 blogs, the equivalent of probably hundreds of millions of readers between all those guys. So obviously I'm not saying I have hundreds of millions of readers, but you get really great distribution, and again, branding, right? So guest blogging, share your content. You have something to say about ballet, find the leading authoritative blog on ballet and share your content there. Don't, you know, do it just to get a link. Don't think long term. Don't think about just SEO or all those, you know, other things that are short term. Think long term and spread your content far and wide, and write in as many places as you can. It's a really great strategy, and unfortunately too many people are trying to like do this now in not such a friendly and subtle manner, but more of an aggressive manner, and that's annoying. Like I said, or like Gary Vaynerchuk said, marketers ruin everything, and this is unfortunately being ruined right now. But definitely guest blogging, in addition to interviews, is a fantastic strategy. Let's see. Oh, Chinese. I don't speak Chinese, unfortunately. Mordechai, good morning. You going? No, I'm not going to subs. I wish I could read Chinese. I was just discussing the other day, if there was one language I'd want to learn, it's probably Chinese. Professional blog credibility versus academic journals. Should I blog in English or Hebrew? John, is that a joke? Absolutely do not blog in Hebrew, ever. Do not blog in any do not blog about anything or in any language that's going to limit your audience. Try to, you know, provide content that will be to as wide of an audience as possible. You never know where it will get. But if you write in just Hebrew, then you'll never, ever... And I understand that you're targeting a local audience. I get it. You know, you have a lighting business, you're targeting locally, but I think, generally speaking, locally, professionals speak English, so I definitely would not limit yourself by writing only in Hebrew. Driving with no hands, Chuck Norris. I'm standing still, my friend. Here, my view, I'm standing still right now. I'm at WeWork, Tel Aviv. I'm standing, so I'm not driving with no hands. That would be very irresponsible of me. I would not do that. Anyway, okay, so we said interviews and guest blogging, right? Interviews, set out, you know, aim as high as you can. Write down, if you're in sports, the athletes that you want to interview. You know, if you're in entertainment, the names of the actors you want to interview. I'm telling you, there's no one you cannot get to. Literally no one you cannot get to. A few years ago, pretty much to the day, I was sitting with Ashton Kutcher, you know, showing him some startups in his hotel room in Tel Aviv. I kid you not, and that was done in a day. So you can pull strings between Twitter and all these platforms. You can reach anyone. I'm telling you the honest truth, you could. So aim high and try to build those relationships out and interview. Second thing is build relationships for guest blogging with, again, aim high. The biggest sites out there in your space. Don't write about, you know, again, if you're working in ballet, don't write about whatever it is, lighting. Write about your space with the end goal being establishing your name in your space. So interviews and guest blogging. Let's talk a little about what we're doing right now. What are we doing right now, right? Video. Let me read what you wrote here. You don't know Chinese. I wish I did. I really wish I did know Chinese. So video, right? I was talking about this yesterday in a panel at a conference in Jerusalem. I actually asked the crowd, you know, everyone here gets content. Everyone understands the value of content. How many people have an active video strategy? Raise your hand. Literally out of, I don't know, hundreds of people in the crowd, one person raised their hand. One person. So we all know that video is very powerful, but how many people really leverage video? And I'm not saying just Meerkat. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be Periscope. It could be whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. But the point is, video is very powerful. Now you're looking at me. Now you're looking at me in the eyes. And now you can get to know me a lot better than by reading my tweets. And so that's a very powerful medium, and not many people are leveraging it. So definitely look at video. And well, again, it doesn't matter what platform it is. It could be different platforms, but it doesn't have to be professional video. Again, we're trying to do low barrier stuff, not things that I need a studio and all that stuff for. You have an iPhone, you have a 6 Plus. These are super high end, you know, cameras. You could take even a selfie video and interview someone. Whatever it is, you have something to say it. Get on Meerkat. Boom, one tap, and share your opinions with the world. it's never been easier, right? Clearly, it's never been easier to go live on video and to leverage video as a strategy. So I would say, in addition to blogging, in addition to possibly leveraging interviews with rock stars in your space and guest blogging, try to figure out how you can integrate video into your whole strategy. And again, it doesn't have to be like 100 posts. You know, it doesn't have to be like a post a day, a video a day. But you should definitely have some sort of a video kind of strategy. Thank you for all those likes. Oh my gosh, you guys rock. Okay, so what do we talk about? Again, we got interviews. I'm trying to get through this real fast so that I don't lose you. And if you have any questions, just shoot them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. And does anybody else find it very strange that Periscope doesn't let me see the comments afterwards? I get the whole disappearing thing; it's cute, but it seems so crazy to me. Like, I could read your comments afterwards and address them. I can't do that on Periscope. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, what did we say? We said interviews, we said guest blog, we said video. This is something that's a little bit out there, really out of the box. I don't know if you guys follow Pebble on Twitter. I love this company, by the way. Just love them. I also love the Pebble itself. I'm not saying I'm not going to get an Apple Watch. I will, but I do love the actual Pebble. But I love the company even more. And what they do on Twitter is kind of brilliant. I don't know if this is their like declared strategy or if they do this all the time. But anytime I've ever spoken to Pebble on Twitter, they responded with a meme. Now, I'm not saying memes necessarily should be your form of communication, but I think it shows that they're thinking out of the box, right? It shows. I find it strange you're sitting on the road. I am sitting in front of my office. Usually I'm driving, and now I'm actually sitting in front of my office, so I am not driving right now. It's cute what they're doing. They're responding with memes, so it kind of like makes you giggle, makes you feel something for the company. You know, they actually invested in time and making a meme right now to respond to me on Twitter. That's cool. So I'm not saying to use memes. I like memes. I think they're funny, and they go far and wide, and they spread nicely. But whether it's memes or something else, just think about like how to add humor, right? How to integrate humor into your content in some way, one way or another. It's easy to do it on blog. You can just, add some humor to your blog posts, but think about beyond that, right? It could be, obviously it was the famous story, the famous case study of Old Spice and what they did when they made personalized videos on the spot for people. That did require, by the way, a huge barrier. It was a huge barrier. Not everyone could do that. They had a studio, they had a copy, they had, a team of copy. It might seem like it was easy to do. It wasn't. But the point is, I love what Pebble does with memes on Twitter. That's really, really cool. I can't believe you just said the P word in here. That's why Meerkat is better. Engagement. I can't believe you just said the P word. Is that Pebble? Why? What's wrong with Pebble? That's why Meerkat is better. Engagement. I find the stranger sitting in the road. I'm not sitting. Remember, I'm not driving. Okay, so what we got here? We got interviews. We got. I agree. What P word? What did I say? What you talking about? Interviews, guest blogging, and guys, this stuff is all so far super low barrier. Anybody can do this. Interviews, guest blogging, video, right? We're doing video right now. How hard was this? This wasn't hard at all. I had an idea and just literally scheduled it, and boom, I'm live. There's no barrier. Anybody can do this, right? Interviews, just reach out, set your goals high, aim for the stars, try to build those relationships on Twitter, reach out and ask, would you mind if I ask you 10 questions by email? Most people will say yes. Memes is just an idea that I had because of Pebble, and I love it, and I think, P word, Periscope. I'm sorry. I need coffee, people. I apologize. Yeah, I don't use Periscope at all, especially because the way they treat Meerkat, Twitter specifically. I haven't used Periscope in months, and I completely turned off notifications, so I'm done with them. Just compared Meerkat to Periscope. I apologize. Okay, I need coffee. It's 8:40 in the morning, people. I need coffee. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about something that's maybe slightly, before we get there. Something else that's relatively low barrier, pretty easy to do, maybe slightly a little bit more difficult than the others is white papers and webinars, right? Again, whatever it is, you're in ballet, write a white paper, analyzing trends, talking about the market. Obviously, ballet is probably not the best example, but a white paper is just like not a promotional thing, just a informational, data-based kind of like project, and it shouldn't be too hard to do. It won't take an hour, but it won't take a month either. You should be able to do it in like a week or two, and it's kind of important because you're establishing your name again as an authority and kind of like building out your name. So that's really effective. And webinars, I don't know. I can't say I'm a big fan. I don't think I've ever, very few exceptions, jumped on a webinar. But if kind of like, I know some VCs do it. I know people do use it, and if your audience would jump on a webinar, then maybe consider leveraging that. Again, not personally a huge fan, but it is an option in terms of content. Now let's talk a little bit about something that's a little bit higher barrier and a little bit more difficult to do, but super, super effective, amazing ROI. Are you seeing any startup use Meerkat to interact and do QA sessions with users? Campus Pursuit, that is a fantastic idea. I don't know of any companies that have done that, I guess because it's probably too new, but I'm doing it right now. So yeah, there's one, Zula. See, you're looking at him. But that is a very good idea. Let me see who else is in here. Hello, is there Saskia Debar? Hey there. Is that Jacob Nair David? What's cooking? Good looking. How you doing, man? Long time no speak. Friends. Anthony, how you doing? A lot of dinosaurs. David Stark. David Stark, where's your profile picture, man? You're a good looking guy. I want to see your face. Mark Berger, how you doing? Welcome. Dan, welcome. You also don't have a profile picture. I don't know why. Let's see who else is in here. Roberto. Campus Pursuit. Nice to see you here. Patrick John Noland. How you doing? Uri, still here, man. I'm impressed. I was able to retain you. You have a lot on your plate, so thank you for sticking in. And Mitch, welcome. So let's just go over, for those that just came in, what we've talked about. We're talking about out-of-the-box content ideas beyond the traditional blog. There's a lot of things you can do. Interviewing people, which, if you follow me, know that I'm a big fan of, and builds relationships, it builds traffic, and it builds branding. So people in your space that you think can provide valuable content to your readers, reach out, send them questions either by email or whatever, however you want to do it, but pick their brain, let them voice their opinion. First thing they'll do about it is tweet. First thing they'll do after you publish it is tweet that article, and there goes your traffic. So it's kind of an obvious strategy, and I've done that for years. Guest blogging. Try to guest blog as much as you possibly can. Again, don't do it in a spammy way. Don't just email and say, I want to write on your blog. Build those relationships out on Twitter. Reach out and say, I would love to write about whatever topic it is. Try to make it unique. Try to make it valuable. But, guest blog. Get your company name out. Get your opinion out, and just build out a brand. That's very, very effective. And I've also done that for many years. Video, Meerkat, right? Or something else, or YouTube, or whatever it is you're using. There's many platforms to produce seamless video content. I'm not talking about getting a studio and professional, and you could do that too, but high-end video, you don't need to do that. Anybody can just go live and share video, and it's just a very, very powerful platform. Like I said, you can look at someone in the eyes, and there's no replacement for that. Reading someone's tweets is just not the same with looking in their eyes. Man, I got a mosquito bite on my... Okay. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so then we talked a little bit about webinars and white papers, which is a little bit more difficult to produce, but not, beyond most of your capabilities. Now let's talk about something that's a little bit maybe, harder to do, but the ROI is tremendous. And I wrote an article about this on VentureBeat. At Zula, maybe a year ago, probably more than a year ago, we were sitting in the office one day and we're like, all right, so we got the blog going on, we got social, all's good in the hood. What do we do now that's like out of the blocks? How do we blow this out of the park, Hit this out of the park, I guess is the right phrase. And so we said, let's build a conference. Let's make a conference. And we all looked at each other. We're all like, a conference, really? We're like this tiny little startup, and we're like working on building out the product and user acquisition. And now's maybe not the right time. We're like, no, we're going to do this, And to be honest with you, I can't say that all of our investors were thrilled. They're like, why are you doing this now? You need to be focused on other things. And I'm like, you know what? I am a firm believer that, and I've talked about this in the past also, you need to build out your brand, not when you're ready for user acquisition, not when you need the downloads. You need to build out the brand before you need the downloads. And so a conference is an amazing, amazing platform to build out a brand and to, just kind of get your name out there. And so we did it. And I'm telling you, I kid you not, you can speak to any of the Zula team members to confirm this. We built an entire conference in New York City in less than, I'd say, 30, I'll say just for argument, I don't want to, just to be safe here, less than 45 days from beginning to end. Are there any websites that are easier or more accepting to take on a guest blogger? I don't think so. I think I have friends that guest blog on TechCrunch all the time. It's just about the relationship with the right person. There's no, sites that are easier or more difficult. Anyway, so 45 days from beginning to end, we did this entire conference. It was sold out in New York. And people we brought to speak are Mark Hull, the head of LinkedIn messaging. We brought Gary Vaynerchuk, obviously, who's just kind of a big deal. We brought Christina Warren from Mashable. We brought Jay Yarrow from Business Insider. We brought Amit Shafrir, who was a serial entrepreneur, was involved in many, many big billion-dollar companies. We brought what's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't be forgetting his name right now. This is embarrassing because he's going to watch this. Anyway, we brought a lot. I'm not going to even say what I was talking about. We brought a lot of amazing personalities, and we spent a whole big zero. Nothing. We did not spend a thing on bringing speakers. We reached out to them. We built those relationships, and we asked them to come speak and provide value to the startup community, and they were all willing to do that, including Gary Vaynerchuk, who's usually very, very, very expensive. Just read here. And a great conference it was. Thank you, Campus Pursuit. You rock. The conference was great. I'm so happy. That's really nice of you to say that. It was actually pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. I can't say that I take credit for it. Our director of communication for HANA was our event. She wasn't with the company yet. She was the event coordinator, and she kind of made the whole event, and it was amazing. Literally every single detail. And we arranged it from Israel in New York, so you can imagine the logistics involved. And it was just literally, we nailed every aspect of it. And the content was phenomenal. It was the day after Slack raised like $120 million, and they're like somewhat of a competitor of ours. So a lot of the speakers were talking about it, and it was totally cool. We're like, yeah, great, speak about it, because that's what's going on in the market. And it wasn't, and people looked at me like, why are people talking about Slack? It's awkward. And I'm like, dude, it's not awkward at all. The goal here is not to push Zula. It's not to get downloads. The goal here is to provide amazing value about the messaging space and what's going on and where's it going and where's it coming from and everything like that. And so it was fantastic. Gary completely owned it. Jeff Pulver, our chairman, was like, he was like post-surgery, and he had the whole crowd in tears. Anyway, we did all of this, organically, right? That we did use Evalero, which is an amazing company, and we did have an event coordinator, but we built it out through relationships. Jacob, was very involved. We brought in some amazing speakers. It was unbelievable. And for starters, if we're talking short term, we got a really great spike in downloads. But forget the downloads, because that was not the goal. The goal was to get out there. And let me just tell you. Hold on one second. Let me just tell you that the day after the event, Jacob sent me a screenshot on Twitter of one of our biggest competitors, who pretty much knew nothing about us before, was targeting the words the hashtag Zula Summit to advertise. Meaning the word Zula Summit was so popular on Twitter, that was the name of the conference, that our competitors were actually using it to target their audience, which was ridiculous for us. That was like, wow. But it was also trending on Twitter. The hashtag Zula Summit was trending. It was ridiculous. It was a tremendous success. I was just recently talking to our marketing team, and till today we're seeing the results, seeing the kind of like ripples, the effects of the Zula Summit. We definitely want to do it again, but again, it's not an easy thing for a startup, and there is a barrier. It takes a lot of your effort and a lot of your focus, and we have to focus on right now at this given moment on building product and user acquisition. But definitely going to do Zula Summit 2.0. Not even a question. Come and do this in Australia. I'll help you. Julia, I would love to visit Australia. It's like one of my top things on my list of places to visit. Would love it. Besides the fact that it's like a 4.5-year flight from Israel, but that aside, I'm very excited. One day I'm going to visit Australia, no question about it. Let's see who else is in here. Give some William, welcome. Neil, how you doing? Who is that? Liana Selly. Did I pronounce that right? Thank you for coming in. Okay, so let's just go over what we said. The topic, because you know how it is with Meerkat, a lot of people jump in and they missed it, so if you're hearing me repeat myself, I apologize. But the topic was, beyond the traditional blog, what can you do as a startup to kind of like get some branding, get some traction, get some traffic? So we talked about interviews, right? Reach out to the leaders in your space, whoever they may be, and aim high. I promise you can reach them all. Some names, and I named some names before, but you can just Google the words, a list of interviews with superstars made possible by Twitter, and that's my list of interviews. And Guy Kawasaki, Robert Scoble, Alyssa Milano, Dennis Crowley, we got Steve Wozniak, Hunter Walk, Mark Sister, who else we have there? Vic Kundacha from Google, Tomer Sharon from Google New York. The list is endless. It's unbelievable, and I'm always looking to do more. And that's it's just amazing. So again, forget the traffic. The traffic that came was stupendous, but it really wasn't for traffic. It was for A, relationships, and B, branding, and it worked. Absolutely worked, and it's continuing to work. So definitely leverage interviews as a content creator, as a startup, as an entrepreneur, as just a brander. Interviews are a very, very powerful platform, or I shouldn't say platform, medium, whatever you want to call it. That's one, interviews. Another thing that is pretty relatively low barrier is guest blogging, right? You get your content out. Don't just write on your own blog. I get it, you want to own your content, but your blog has a limit to its kind of distribution. So get out there, leverage other blogs that already built out that audience and try to write your content there. Don't miss your meeting. I'm not going to miss my meeting. My meeting's at 9:30, but I am going to get off in a minute because it's 9 and I got to run. But so we said guest blogging. We said interviews and guest blogging. Video, right? Meerkat makes it as easy as possible, but it doesn't have to be Meerkat. It can be something else, but use video because video is personal. It's face-to-face. It's much, much more powerful than just blogging. And again, all these things are an addition, not a replacement. Should definitely be writing content for many various reasons we've talked about in the past. A cool thing that Pebble does is memes. Memes go very far. They're cute. And if someone writes to Pebble on Twitter, they respond with a meme. That's really, really cool and makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good. And that's an interesting way of kind of like writing content that's tailored and that's cool. And it's very low barrier. Make a meme in 30 seconds on Meme Factory on iOS or any one of a million sites on the web that just literally in 30 seconds you can create a meme. That's just a really cool idea. Hillel, thoughts on Meerkat sending notifications for Paul McCartney and other celebrities that users don't specifically follow? I wasn't aware that they did that, but it kind of makes sense. I feel like, if U2 is live, I'd want to know even if I don't follow them, so I'm okay with that. Within limits, right? I don't want to know random people. I definitely don't want to know someone that's number one on the leaderboard who's standing there doing her thing just to get more followers. I definitely don't want to know about her, but within limits, within limitations, I'm okay with them sending me notifications about interesting people. We talked about white papers and white papers and webinars. It's relatively speaking low barrier. You can do it. There are enough tools out there. I'm not a huge believer in them. Maybe white papers more than webinars, depending on your space. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of webinars, but you can try it. Maybe it depends what space you're in. That's the real truth. And then the big kind of like big mama, that's higher barrier. That's difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is unbelievable ROI. Is conference. By the way, if you can't do a full-blown conference, you can do meetups. Bring your community to your office or wherever it is you work and have a meetup. It's, bring 2-3 speakers and have a mini conference if you can't do a full-blown conference. Although I cannot tell you that, I cannot tell you how amazing it was to actually do a full conference. And again, not beyond your capabilities, assuming you have, raised some money and you have some resources, even though in our case it didn't pretty much cost us very much at all because we had the venue in our office in New York and it costs us something, obviously catering, whatever it is, but minimal. You can do it with minimal budget. So I would say a conference is an amazing tool. But if you can't do a full-blown conference, have some meetups. Have a monthly meetup, Just last week, Yahoo Israel had a meetup with Interactive where I used to work. Just a meetup on mobile advertising. So that was really, really cool. And I think that's something you can definitely do. Open up meetup.com or evalero.com or any of these event platforms and just start a meetup. Invite people, use social to invite people. And even if you have 50 people coming, that's great. Slowly but surely that builds up your brand. So those are the things that we talked about. There's enough to do. There are many other things you can do in the content side, but just start. That's the biggest challenge of all these things, whether it's a blog or any of these things. Just start. Gotta run, Hillel. Thanks for the creative boost. Thank you so much for coming in. 122 people. You guys rock, especially since U2 was streaming tonight. So I really appreciate you coming in. I'm happy that we stayed connected the whole time and then I didn't, get kicked off a video like Meerkat does sometimes. I guess it helps that I'm standing still, but anyway, I am going into the office now and continuing to work. And truth be told, I really can tell you that many people have asked me over the years, how come you don't have your own startup? How come you're not a founder of a startup? And the answer I always say is I meet so many startups that I can't find it within me to build a mediocre product. Like there's not, unless I have a really unique idea that's really just a home run, I just can't bring myself to do that because I've become so cynical. But I have to tell you that, and if you're upset that I'm doing this because I'm quote unquote self-promoting, then I'm sorry, I apologize. You know very well that I don't like to do this, but at Zula we're doing something right now that is truly unique, and I don't say that lightly because I find it very hard to believe when I hear companies that say they don't have competitors. I'm not going to say we don't have competitors. I'm not talking about the Zula app right now. There are many competitors of that. What we're doing right now, we're building right now, is a really unique product, and I'm really excited to tell you about it, but that's going to have to wait. In any case, I hope, then there's always those haters that be like, oh, you did a whole thing just to promote Zula at the end. Okay, clearly that's not the case. And again, I hope if you follow me online, you clearly know that that's not what I'm about, but kind of my ADD brain led me there. So that's what I had to talk about, but stay tuned for that. And I hope this was valuable to one entrepreneur out there who, was writing a blog and wanted to give himself a little boost and do something creative on the content side. So interviews, guest blogging, video, memes, and webinars / you can do, I don't know, webinars / white papers are okay, and then conference / meetups if you can't do a conference. Those are my 5 to 6 tips, I guess with one bonus. And enjoy the coffee, I guess you meant to say. Get money. I missed most of it. I'll catch it on Catch Cats. Yes, you will, Jeff. But I did just sum it up. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate it, especially since I was competing with you two. Yeah, we'll try to do another one tomorrow. And again, as always, if you have any ideas, things you want me to talk about, I think tomorrow is going to be about hashtags and how to use them and how not to use them. But if you have other ideas, do ping me on Twitter or wherever, here, anywhere you want, and just let me know you want me to talk about a certain topic. And if I know about it, I'll try to talk about it. If I don't, then I don't. Peace. Thank you so much for coming in. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, and we'll talk again soon.